Okay, now we're going to keep our thing going with right triangles and sine, cosine, tangent. Find the three side lengths and the three angle measurements of the triangle. Okay. Now, you're still going to use the SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. And this is sine, this is cosine, this is tangent. Okay. But now you're not finding what the ratios are. Okay. Read the directions. Find the three side lengths and three angle measurements of the triangle. So you're going to find the sides and the angles. So the sides, you're going to write O equals A equals H equals. You have to find out how long those sides are. The angles are easy. Okay, we'll get to the angles, but the angles are not hard. Okay, the angles are just a finishing thing. It's really easy. Now, what is H, O, and A? Well, this is H, and we don't know how long that side is. Now, to do your O and A, here's what you need to do. Now, you don't have the theta symbol. Instead, you have a degree measurement. That is called your reference angle. So, reference equals 28 degrees. Reference angle. Okay? It's 28 degrees. So, I put my pencil on the 28 degrees, and if that's the reference angle, then across from that is O, and then this is A. Now, A we have is 15, so we know how long side A is. Now, so in this square, I'm going to solve for O, and in this square, I'm going to find how long side H is, the two things I don't know. Now, you want to use ratios to this, because you are going to do cross multiplication and division. Now, you need to put a parentheses with the reference angle inside, 28 degrees. 28 degrees. Okay, you're going to put a 1 under that. Now, in front of this 28 degrees, I need to put a word, sine, cosine, or tangent. Now, here's how I decide which. Okay, you are going to put the side that you do know, the A. You know what the A is, so put /A/A, because we know what A is. Okay, now O and A. Which one of these three words has O and A? It's tangent. So you write tan, and then you know that that's O over A. Now you replace the A with what the A is equal, which is 15, and we're solving for O. So I'm solving for the letter O, so I cross multiply tan 28. On a calculator, you hit this tan key. Okay, tan 28 times 15, 7.98. I don't really care how it's rounded, and then divided by 1. And that is 7.98. So that is what your O is, 7.98. Now, H and A. What does H and A? Now, that would be cosine. Now, it's A over H. Okay, we got to make sure we get that. But cosine's the ratio that involves H and A, so it would be cos. Okay, that's why you write that up there. And it's not H over A, it's A over H. You look up here for the correct ordering. Okay, A we have is 15. Okay, so we replace our A with 15, and now I cross multiply and divide. So here's my H. So I find the other cross product opposite the H. 1 times 15 is 15. And then we will then divide 15 by the cosine 28. So 1 times 15 is 15. So 15 divided by cos 28. I get 16.99. And that is your H. Okay. All right, the angles are easy to find. Well, that square angle inside means 90 degrees. And then we know we had a 28 degrees. Now, the third degree. what's up here? Well, it's not hard. Any triangle has to add up to 180 degrees. So just subtract the two angles that you know, and the remaining, what's left over has to be the measurement of the third angle, and that's 62. All right, there you go. Okay, this will take a bit of time to get used to. So, ka, toa, okay. Sine, cosine, tangent. And the job on this assignment is to find the sides, the lengths of all three sides, and the angles. So the sides is the most work. And it doesn't matter the order you write this, okay? It doesn't matter. Now, so I know side H is 8 units long, so I know H. Now, for O and A, you got to know your reference angle, the degrees inside your reference. You can never use 90 degrees as your reference angle. It doesn't work like that. So reference angle, there should be no parentheses, it should say reference angle, just like the last problem did, is 30. Okay, we have this 30 degrees. So 30 degrees is going to be our reference. Actually, if you took geometry last year, it's a 30, 60, 90. If you remember that way, you can find the other ones, and that's fine, okay? But if you want to use the sine, cosine, tangent, which is the mission of this, that's what I'm going to show. So across from that, the reference angle, because that's like your theta, that's your O, which we don't know, and that's A. So I don't know O, and I don't know A. But I do know H. So I need to use H for both of these, because that's the one I do know. So you really got to put your parentheses in with the reference degrees inside, 30 degrees. So O and H, put ones on the bottom of that every time. So O and H is sine. And that's O over H. You can't get it flipped around, okay? Now, replace the H with 8, because we know that that's 8, and we solve for O. So I find the cross product opposite the O. So I take sine 30 times 8, and that's 4. And of course 4 divided by 1 would just be 4. Okay, so O equals 4. This would be a 1, 2 square root of 3 if you did geometry last year. Okay, AH is cosine, so cos. That's A over H. So you replace the H with the side that you do know. Solve for A. Okay. So cos 30 times 8. 6.93. That's 6.93. That's your A. Okay, now the angles are easy. You got a 90-degree angle. All of these have a 90. That's what the square angle means. Stands for 90 degrees. Then 30 degrees. And then you just take 180 minus 90 minus 30. Okay. Okay. Now, if you're wondering, if you're using the 1, 2 square root of 3 from last year, you can write A as 4 square root of 3, because 4 square root of 3 is 6.93, so that's where that's coming from. Okay. I'm well aware of that method. I shouldn't be a math teacher if I don't know it, even though I'm not the geometry teacher here. Okay. That's a 17. There's your 90-degree angle. So, ka, toa. Okay, so sine, cosine, tangent. Okay. Okay, so we have to find the sides and the angles. How long all three sides are, and the number of degrees inside of each angle. Okay, so And it doesn't matter the order this is written. So, right there, there's the 90 degrees. That's your square angle. That stands for, that means that side, that's 90 degrees inside there. That's your H. We don't know that. Now, for O, before I do my O and A, I have to know my reference angle. The reference angle is this 17 degrees. So across from that, the side opposite that is your O, and this is your A. Okay, we know that A is 14. Okay, so I have to solve for O and H. Okay, now the A is the one I do know, so the one you do know, you have to involve that in your ratio, in your proportion that you're going to be making. So these are the two I don't know. This is the one I do know, so I have to put 14 has to be involved in this. Now you got to put the parentheses with your reference angle degrees, 17. 17 degrees, 17 degrees, 1, 1. So O and A is tangent. No. Don't put a 1 there, that was stupid. 1 goes here. Okay. Tangent is O over A. O, A. Okay, well I replace my A with 14. We got to have that. Okay. Now I have to solve for the O. So I find the cross product opposite the O. So I take tan 17 times 14. That's 4.28 divided by 1. Okay. So we multiply that, and then we divide by 1, and that's 4.28. Okay. So 4.28 is your O value. H and A, that is cosine, but it's A over H. Keep in mind that doesn't change. Just because you write H first, you don't go H over A. It's always up here, A over H. Okay, and then again, we have our A value as 14. Now we find the cross product opposite the H. 1 times 14 is 14, and we are dividing 14 by the cosine of 17. So I take 14 divided by cos 17, and 14.64 is what I came up with. And that is your H. Now if I get the question, am I doing this right? If your H is the longest side, is the biggest number, then you probably did it right. Okay, if H isn't the biggest number, you did it wrong. Okay, the hypotenuse is always the biggest number. Angles, you have 90, you're always going to have 90, that's what the square represents, and then 17 degrees, and then to find the remaining angle, the one up here, you take 180 minus 90 minus 17, and that's going to be 73 degrees. Okay. Okay, next one. So, ka, toa, sine, cosine, tangent. Okay. So I got to find my sides and I have to find my angles. So O equals A equals H equals. It does not necessarily have to be in that order. Okay. Okay, so that's the H, that's unknown. Now, after that, I identify what my reference angle is, because I don't have the theta symbol. The reference angle equals 54 degrees. So across from there is my O, which I have 8.5. So I know the O and my A. So I have to find my H, my A, and my H. It doesn't matter where you find it, but you do know O. You already know O, so you want to put dash O with that, because we have to use that in both the proportions. So 54 degrees. We put a 1 under that. Okay. so A and O is tangent. Remember, that's O over A, not A over O. Set that up. Okay. So we know the O, that's 8.5. Now I can cross multiply and divide to solve for the A. So I find the cross product opposite the A. 1 times 8.5 is 8.5. And then I divide by tan 54 on a calculator, obviously. Okay, 6.18. So A is equal to 6.18. Okay, so A, there's your A. Now here I will be finding my H. Okay, so H and O is the sign. Okay, that's O over H. Well, again, we know O is 8.5. So get that out of there and put 8.5. And now we're going to solve for H. So again, I find the cross product opposite the H. So 1 times 8.5 is 8.5. Then I divide by the sine of 54. Okay. So 8.5 divided by the sine of 54 is 10.51. So H equals 10.51. Remember, the H should be the longest side. Okay, angles. Well, you always got 90. Then the reference angle, 54 degrees. Then the three angles together have to add up to 180. So I'm just going to subtract 90, subtract 54. 180 minus 90 minus 54 is 36. 36 degrees. Okay. Sine SOHCAHTOA first. Then you got to know what this stands for. Sine is O over H, cosine is A over H, tangent is O over A. Okay. Okay, so actually I already wrote that down for you. Okay, so there's your H. We don't have that. Now for O and A, you got to identify your reference angle. This is be 61. 61 degrees is going to be our reference angle. Okay, so across from that is your O. So we have the O side as 16 units. Then A we don't have, so we have to find A and H. Not you can do it. It doesn't have to be in a particular order. You can do H here and A here, but those are the sides we have to find, and we put that with the side we know. A O H O. Very important you write that there so you can go look up here and know what one of the three functions you're using. Okay, so you put your reference angle 61 degrees here. 1 on the bottom. Now A and O, that's why it's important we write that down. A and O is tangent. Then O over A. Okay, now we know side O, so that's replaced with 16. Okay, so we find the 1 times 16 product, that's 16 divided by tan 61. Okay. So 16 divided by tangent 61 is going to be 8.87. So A, so 8.87. There's your A. Okay, H and O, that would be sine. And that's O over H. Okay. Now again, replace the O with 16. Okay, so again, find the cross product opposite the H, that's 16. That's equal to H times this, so I'm going to divide by sine 61 to find the H value. Okay, 18.29. That's your H value. H should be the highest. So we got 90, we have the reference angle 61. To find the remaining angle, you just take 180 minus 90 minus 61. Okay, it's always 180. There's 190, 80 degrees in a triangle. 29. Okay, my last problem. Okay, so, ka, to. So sine, cosine, and the tangent. Okay, so H, don't know it. Okay, now my reference angle is the 27 degrees. Okay, and that's going to be like my theta. And that's O. So O I know is 8, but I don't know A. So I got to solve for H and A, or A and then H. It doesn't matter what order you do, but you know O, so you have to have O involved in the proportion, because that's where you got to put your 8 value in there. Okay, so you put a degrees, you put your reference angles, 27 degrees. Okay. So H and O, there's H and O, that'd be sine for 1. Okay, so it's O over H. We have side O, that's 8. Okay, now we got to solve for H. Okay, so multiply your cross product. 1 times 8 is 8. Then you divide 8 by the sine of 27 degrees. So 8 divided by sine 27 is 17.62. So H equals 17.62. So there's your H value. Okay, A and O, that's tangent. Okay, and that's O over A. Again, you take your O value, that's 8, okay, put it in. Now we're finding A, so I find the cross product opposite the A. 1 times 8 is 8, we should know that. And then divide by tangent 27, that's your A value. Okay, 15.70. Okay, then your angle measurements, you got 90, you got 27, then 180 minus 90 minus 27, it's 63.